You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I am your host, the Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on the social medias at MMMShow75. That up there is at Byron Fever. That over there is at Meefloaf with an F. Meefloaf. And that over there is the Professor Casey, also found on the Twit machine at Lucha Gringo. This is a very, very special episode. We're dropping an extra one for you this week. We're going to take you back in the Wayback Machine to an important interview, I think, that came from the highest rated, the most downloaded episode of our show ever. We're going to bring it back for you. We're not going to push you to the old one. We're not going to talk about a bunch of old shit. We're going to give you just the goods from it, from a very awesome interview. It is, in fact, Pride Month, and this is an individual, a wrestler, a performer that you need to hear. If you want to understand anything about gay culture, if you want to understand anything about diversity, if you want to understand anything about appreciating people for being who they are, you need to listen to our friend Sonny Kiss, who is now in All Elite Wrestling, which was super awesome. After Lucha Underground kind of was coming apart, to see Sonny came in as Lishus in Lucha Underground. Great reaction. I think they ended up using him even more than they had expected. We talked about Sonny a little bit on the episode right before this. So listen to that as well if you want to hear a little more about what we think about Sonny. Sonny is awesome. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about Tony Khan. Tony K,
Sleaze Thread. What up, homie?
Tony, first of all, is awesome. I dealt with Tony quite a bit with my NFL show. He is a part owner of the Jaguars along with his dad, and he's involved in the NFL company. And we were looking for wrestlers to get on my fantasy football show last year. So my host, Adam Rank, had Tony's email, and Rank, who we should have on the show at some point because he is a huge wrestling fan.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He's the one who introduced me to EY and a couple other people. Both Rank and I were like, look, we want some diversity in our fantasy football show. I am biracial, and I saw that we had this connection with Tony Khan, and I was like, dude, I would really love to get Cody and Brandy on the show. I don't know if they play fantasy football, but it'd be really awesome, even if they don't, to just like have that level of representation with an interracial couple, especially on the show. And Tony hooked it up immediately. It was when AEW was about to come out, and I had a conversation later with Cody about Sonny, who had already been signed. And Brandy, especially, huge fan of Sonny Kisses. And like everything that they're doing over there at AEW with diversity and trying to broaden people's minds, like we talked about with Pimpinella and the Exoticos on our last episode, is to me great. And I think Tony Khan is a champion for diversity issues. I love his statements about Hulk Hogan and some of that stuff, and just, you know, holding people accountable for it, because it's very rare that you get a baller, because Tony Khan is a fucking baller that's on that level. That, I mean, and I don't necessarily think that, you know, the super wealthy in general are necessarily racist or bigoted or, you know, homophobic or anything like that. I just think that a lot of times it doesn't register to them. They don't care because they don't need to. It's not part of their daily existence. It's not part of their world. It's not part of Tony's world. He makes it part of his world. He goes out of his way to represent minority issues, causes, and I just think it's great. I like Tony Khan. What do you guys think about Tony?
Dude, he's the man. Coach Tony K. Love you.
I think it's great. I mean,
if Leeds win the league and get promoted and Fulham don't, then I'm fine with him.
I mean, I think that
take it to football, of course. Meef just takes it straight to football. Footy.
I thought that was hilarious when Linda Hogan tweeted some bullshit and Tony just jumped on her and it's like, you and your husband are now banned. But you know, all jokes aside, a lot of people kind of give AEW shit for being like the sort of touchy-feely millennial company, and I think that goes to show how far backwards wrestling has been and the thought process behind wrestling and with all their fans have been.
Because it's taking until 2019, 2020 to do this.
And you basically just have people who are like, let's just be cool. Like, let's include everyone. That's not an outrageous statement, but it feels like it compared to, you know, meanwhile, like WWE had lots of gay programs where it was like, look, these guys, they're gay. Just kidding. They're faking. And you know, it's just, it ruined the whole thing. They're disingenuous.
Yeah, and Exotico in WWE is not very exotic, it turns out.
Yeah, like femininity in a man is like a heel, you know, trait or a sign of weakness. Whereas it like very specifically, you have Sonny in AEW, who is a badass, and it's just represented as he is without any question. And so, you know, and it's great. I mean, right now it's very different, but you have this generation of fans, you have the next that come in and watch, and it's going to be normal, which we need. It's a great thing that they're doing.
I will say this, Sonny in Lucha Underground as Lishus got over with us immediately. And even at Lucha Underground, they were like, we don't know if this is going to go over. And I don't know how much of Sonny was planned for them or was kind of another Band-Aid on the not getting all the performers that they wanted because of visa issues in that fourth season. Yeah. But Sonny got over great with the crowd. And some of the things he did, oh my God, when he would squeal on the bumps and stuff was so freaking amazing. And the whole crowd got into it. And the Exolicious chants started almost immediately, though not the first time, because I love you, Melissa, but we had a little trouble understanding the name when you said it the first time. And so no one knew what to chant, even though they wanted to. But by the second time, and there was a few dark matches in there that I wish people could have seen that Sonny did also that were just freaking amazing. And we love Sonny to death. So we had 2 interviews with Sonny, one that was dedicated almost entirely to Sonny, and then Sonny showed up on our 100th episode, which is great. And Urban has a pretty awesome question. So take a look at these 2 clips from those interviews, or these 2 chunks of interview. They're good portion of time, and really get to know who Sonny Kiss is and appreciate it. And we thank all of you for enjoying and being a part of this Pride episode of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. Denise, tell us what else is happening this week on the network, and then check out the interview.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a look at all of the great shows available this week on the Lucha Central Podcast Network. Monday, it's a brand new mask cast with Dos Hermanos Lucha. The brothers are back with their latest advice on how to build the ultimate Lucha Libre mask collection, including what Facebook groups can really help you up your game. Tuesday, it's Masks, Mats, and Mayhem, the show that brings you back into and behind the scenes of Lucha Underground. This week on the show, more behind-the-scenes secrets are revealed from 2 of the show's Day 1 luchadores. Plus, the gang discusses the current success of former Lucha Underground stars Karrion Kross and El Hijo del Fantasma, and takes a look back at Season 1, Episode 6. Plus, this Friday, look for a bonus episode of the MMMShow focused on Pride Month, including a special interview with former Lucha Underground and current AEW star Sonny Kiss. Also on Tuesday, brand new series Wrestle Boss with Fabi Chulo debuts on its regular night with a live call-in show covering pro wrestling and MMA from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Pacific. Then, each Wednesday, the show will be available for download on podcast platforms. The first episode is up now and features interviews with former CMLL, Ring of Honor, and Lucha Underground star Ricky Reyes, Bellator fighter Rick Hahn, and Combate America SVP Mike Aframowitz. This week's guests will include former XPW and Wrestling Society X star and current owner and operator of the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, Joey Chaos. With SBW graduates in nearly every major promotion at this point, there is a lot to talk about. Don't miss WrestleBoss Live on Tuesday night and in podcast format on Wednesday. We've also got more live recordings for you on Wednesday as Spanish series La Mesa de los Márgaros brings you their unique style of news and comedy along with special guests. Watch as they record their episode on Facebook Live and then download the episode Thursdays. Also on Thursday, it's Straight Out of the Bodega with Papo Esco with special guests PWR Training Academy graduate and AEW star Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Papo and Gabe talk with Jack about his training at the Academy, his time in the NorCal indie scene, and his signing with AEW. On Friday, we've got the #1 Lucha Libre show on the US charts, Lucha Central Weekly, and the #1 show wrestling related period on the Mexico iTunes wrestling charts, Lucha Central Weekly en Español. With Lucha Libre slowly returning to Mexico and shows this past weekend from both DTU and IWRG, plus luchadores all over WWE programming these days, we've got 2 packed shows for you. Be sure to subscribe and follow all of your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms. And please be sure to give a rating and review to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central Central. Have a great week.
We are joined today by a very special guest, one that some of you may know, that some of you may not know, but I'm sure if you are fans of this show and Lucha Underground fans, you will know very, very soon in a big way. We would like to welcome to the show Sonny Kiss. What's going on?
Hello. Like such a subtle, like hello.
We also have Byron and Meatloaf here, of course, at Meatloaf and at Byron Fever, right?
At Byron Fever. What's your Twitter handle?
Oh, mine. At Sonny XO. He's like, yeah, of course you.
Thanks for coming on. We've been really looking forward to talking to you, but there was a period of time, I think, where we weren't allowed.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we weren't allowed really, but now that the trailer has dropped for Lucha Underground Season 4, you definitely have a few moments in there. We get that awesome picture of you along with the other cast members standing at the end, which is great. But there's another little sneak peek of Sonny at Lucha Underground in there that was kind of the talk of the internet for a minute there.
Was it the talk of the internet? I wouldn't go that far, but
I mean, look, we're all fans of some of the fun stuff that the writers and Skip do and those guys, and it's obviously an homage to Flashdance, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and I know a lot of people at first, because they didn't know you were going to be in the show, people didn't know who exactly was in that picture, and then I think we talked about it because it was kind of obvious to us who it was, and a few other people, even though we played coy about it a little bit. But I think it's well established and out there now that it is in fact Sonny Kiss that is doing the Flashdance pose. Was that something that you guys shot for Lucha Underground this year? Is that one of the things that we have to look forward to seeing more of?
Yeah, you might have to look forward to the. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Yeah, no. So, I'm not quite sure what episode that will be on. I just know that it's something that we shot for the season. It was just basically like they know I have a dance background, and I remember backstage and they threw out the outfits, and I was like looking at them, and they were like, "This is what you're gonna wear. So choose what you're gonna wear. Like put your own outfit together." And I was like, "Oh my god, this is a leotard and some tights." Like I felt like back at home, quote unquote. So it was really really cool. Like and then you saw the clip, and I can't wait till you guys see the rest.
This was like It's kind of scared me though, because I thought about it for a minute. I was like, what is it like just having just a bucket of water dumped on you? Do they at least warm it up?
Oh my god! So the water was warm, like lukewarm, but it was like we had to do the take like 3 or 4 times. So I'm drowning. Like the water's in my face, the water's in my chest, and it's like they're gonna get mixed up, and they throw the water too fast, or throw the water too slow. And then one of the times it was directly on my face. So imagine like a heavy like bucket of water just going on your face, and I was like almost drowning. Like it was just crazy. But it was a cool experience. I was freezing too because I was actually surprised at how chilly it was in LA because I'm a Jersey boy. So I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna get out to LA. It's gonna be so warm, and like I was freezing. But the take came out amazing, and I just can't wait for everyone to see it.
It seems like fun, but it does almost seem like you're almost kind of like waterboarding yourself if you have to do multiple takes of just dumping water, like especially like that.
Yeah, you will see that. Yeah, you will see like me using like the bottle and stuff like that, like the actual scene. Like if you watch the movie scene, like some of it is very very like it's taken from there, like the whole thing, like most of the scenes, I would say. Like we actually did revamp the scene basically,
which is pretty awesome. So that being said, I mean, it does make sense because, and you can let some of these guys know, like you came from a dance background before wrestling?
I did. So I trained in dance since I was very young, since like probably like middle school. And then I went to a performing arts high school in my town in Jersey City. And then from there, I wasn't really sure where I was going to go. So I ended up taking a route to yoga. So look at that, I'm intertwining all these different things at once. I ended up going to school for yoga, and I got a yoga certificate. And then now I'm freaking back in college. It's about time, though. After like a 5-year hiatus. So yeah, but I had a dance background. Yeah, and then I moved on to 2014. I auditioned for the Jets cheerleading squad. Hence the gesture. I'm not really a Jets fan, so you can calm down. Yeah, I cheerlead for the Jets. I started to audition for the Jets, and then I was unsuccessful. And then I did the Ravens prep classes, and that was pretty cool. I never really went anywhere with that either. I just felt like, obviously, being a male of color, and I felt like that just wasn't what they were looking for. And I was trying to, like, obviously, break that barrier, because that's the type of person I am. I do it in wrestling. I do it, whatever is I put my mind to, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to try to, revolutionize and break barriers in it. So I tried that with football cheerleading, but it was a no-go. But still, like, I had a really cool career as a dancer. So I'm happy about it.
But cheerleading does seem like a good fit, especially for your attitude. I mean, you've always been babyface as far as I've known you, right? I mean, you like to have that upbeat attitude and to come with a lot of enthusiasm to all your wrestling events. So I could see why cheerleading would be a good fit for you in general.
Absolutely. And I played up that more than my dance background in wrestling, because I felt like it just was more fitting, just because of stereotypes and how people look at cheerleaders. But yeah, I've always been babyface. I love being babyface. I love smiling and being bubbly and fun, because it's more authentic. And that's what I wanted to portray in wrestling, is to be authentic. And I felt like me as an openly gay wrestler, that's important, because authenticity wasn't a thing for gay wrestlers back in the 80s and stuff like that. Because you had those guys, but they weren't really gay. They were kind of just costumes and just flamboyant. And like, with me, it's everything that you see here is authentic. Like, it's real. Like, it's not, a facade. Like, it's totally real. So, yeah.
Well, so that being the case, because I do agree with you, especially about 80s wrestling, is that, things were portrayed more as a gimmick than having any basis in reality.
I'd say even in the 90s too, when it comes to wrestlers, like there was the reality era and attitude era and stuff like that, but gay wrestlers you weren't real. Like Kanyon, I think, was one of the first openly gay wrestlers, but that wasn't who he was in the ring. But then you have like Building and Chuck, they do something, or you have I think Lenny Lane in WCW, I think.
Yeah,
and they're just putting on the show.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't really authentic at all. So not that it's a bad thing, because I don't mind it. I don't mind, you know, playing off a character. Like, hello, this is wrestling.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there wasn't really a representation for a flamboyant, you know, feminine, just wrestler who's just himself, you know, because then you had people who are just doing the drag gimmicks and then, you know, stuff like that. You never really had, like, someone who just identified as a male, even though, like, people sometimes ask our pronoun, they're like, are you a female or are you a male? It's hilarious. But I don't mind if you call me either or, but I identify as a male, so there wasn't that representation of just a gay male wrestler. There was just, you know, costumes and drag and stuff like that. So,
well, so that being the case, I mean, you obviously still decided to take this route as something to include in your own life. So that, which surprises me at times, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like there's some sections of wrestling fans that would not subscribe to that, and then others that would be totally down with it. Like, you mostly wrestle on the East Coast, where I feel like, you know, who you are is probably very well accepted. Were you worried when you were getting into wrestling that you wouldn't be accepted for yourself, or that you'd have to put on a different type of gimmick or play it a certain way just to get into wrestling?
I was very, like, nervous and skeptical about how, you know, I would be perceived. But at the same time, I knew that when I got into this, that if I was going to do it, it was going to be authentic, it was going to be real, and I wasn't going to portray anyone I wasn't. Because quite frankly, I really can't. It's pretty obvious. So, like, I was like, okay, when I get in wrestling, I'm just going to be me. I mean, it took me 2 times, because I started in 2011 as a manager, and then I stopped, and then I came back in 2013, and I was like, I'm going to do this for real now. Like, I'm really, really going to do it. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be me, and I'm not going to look back. And, you know, if I fail, at least I can say I tried. And 2013, I was just progressing in the ring. I started training with a bunch of different trainers, and I was honing my craft as an athlete. And I was, you know, still tumbling. I was still, you know, being athletic and stretching every day. And yeah, lo and behold, like 5 years later, here I am, Lucha Underground.
So what made you want to do it at all?
I'm
sorry. So what made you want to get into wrestling? I mean, where was the start of switching over from cheerleading and dance and looking up and saying, yeah, I'd like to go in there and get my ass kicked?
Well, it started really early. Like, everyone tells these stories in podcasts, and they like go all the way back to the, you know, their like adolescent years, or even younger, obviously. But with me, it was like, yeah, like I was really young. I always loved wrestling though. Like, I think I played the video games first. I played Revenge. I don't know if you guys remember that game.
Yes.
Of course, yeah. I played Revenge before I even watched wrestling on TV. So that was pretty crazy. I played WCW and WO Revenge. I played wrestling in 2000. And then I started watching it around that time. And I started to see people on TV that I looked up to. I really, really loved women's wrestling for some reason. But RVD and Jeff Hardy and, you know, the Hardy Boys and, you know, feel like that I was like strongly inspired by. And yeah, then I was still dancing obviously most of my life. And then when I got to when was this? All right, so one day I was like tumbling in a park, and then like a friend of mine's like was like, yo, you're so athletic, you should be a wrestler, you should try it out, whatever. He's like, yo, come train with me. And I was like, all right, cool. So then I went to the ring, and I, with him training, and I started to like take a bumps around. And then as soon as I got in the ring, I knew it. I was like, I want to do this for real. Like, this is what I want to do with my life. And even though it was like tough in the beginning, no, was it tough? I don't know. The bumps were like a little like frustrating to like actually get, but after a while, it was cool. Like I was okay. Like I was like, okay, I got this. I can do it. And then like character development started to happen, and yeah, the rest is history. Like, because once I was able to, like, it took a little while. I'm gonna say, like after like maybe one or two. Yeah, after like 1 or 2 matches, it started to be like, okay, like discouragement obviously comes back to you, and then like, you know, you continue on, you know, with more trainers and, you know, more ideas, and the confidence just grows and grows and grows. Like, I'm a completely different person than I was in 2012, 2013, 2014. You know, that whole thing.
See,
like
I think that
now it's like no one can touch me, like as far as confidence.
I think that anybody that goes in there that can't remember if they hated the first day or not probably is meant to be in wrestling. Because I went and ran the ropes with some buddies a couple times, and just that feeling under my arm, I was like, "No, I'm good on this. This is not my thing."
Honestly, though, you get used to it after a while. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I mean, again, this is why you're cut out for it, and I'm over here with a microphone, and you're out there performing for all these folks. You know.
I mean, yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, there's roles in wrestling. There's so many roles. Like, I feel like if you're not made for one, you can be made for other. Like, for people to say, "Oh, you don't belong in wrestling," is silly. Like, there's so many different roles, and yeah, I think there's something for everybody.
What were you going to ask something, Byron?
Yeah, I was going to ask. You were talking about as far as your presentation, your character, and your visual presentation, how that was important to you. But I also was wondering, with on the wrestling side, like with your move set, there's different types of wrestling, like lucha libre, or some people call it like the indie spot fest, where you're doing all your moves, or I don't know, like strong style. Did you put any consideration into how you would be represented as a fighter? How you would fight? Like, what kind of a fighter would you say you are?
So like I said, I was very inspired by women's wrestling, and if you notice, most of my moves pay homage to like every female wrestler that's ever wrestled before. So with my wrestling, I get compared to Naomi a lot, to Jacqueline, who's one of my biggest inspirations. I just love like a mixture of the high flying, and my boyfriend, who's also a wrestler, he teaches me the technical stuff. And but yeah, no, if you look at my moveset, it pays homage to like every female wrestler. I don't really have a name for it. I just knew I wanted to be strong and athletic, and I wanted to use my flexibility, and just kind of like use all these different like components to like make cool.
Well, I noticed like you do like you throw a Yakuza kick, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but you throw a kick, but you put your own spin on it, and you seem to do a lot of split-legged type moves.
Well, see, that's not my move. It actually pays homage to Melina.
There you go.
Yeah, see, a lot of people don't know that, and like they'll call me like this crazy innovator. And I think it's sweet because that's the whole thing too. There's not men out there doing stuff like that, so I figured that those moves would set me apart from everybody else by default because there's not men out there doing that stuff. So that's why I guess how people think it's innovative, which I mean I guess it is because it's innovative for a guy to do it. But the actual move itself, no, a lot of my moves are they pay homage to like women's wrestling from past and present. So, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Like I love it. Obviously, it got me to Lucha Underground, so they love it, and yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily even thought innovative. The first time we saw you, like I saw you do a move probably off the second rope where you landed in a split, and I was just like, oh shit, I could never even think about doing something like that. You know, I mean, the level of flexibility that you have and being able to land in a split, that's the part that trips me out, because I've done splits way back in the day when I was actually doing martial arts and stuff. I could do some splits, and I've seen guys who can do splits and the Van Damme kind of stuff, but bouncing and like landing on the ring and doing some of the stuff off the ropes in a split, that is the stuff where everyone I think is just like, oh my God, this guy's on a different level.
Yeah, I do like try to put my own twist in some areas. So yeah, like I just want people to be like, holy, like for my stuff that they would for like, you know, those crazy pile drivers or whatever else, you know, people do in like strong style and death matches and stuff like that. But that's kind of my own version of like, holy, you know.
I love it. Well, and it works too, because that's absolutely exactly what I said. I mean, I think everybody around me said that. God, what was the match I watched earlier this week? I think it was you and Stan Styles, who is hilarious to me. He's been out here at Maverick Pro recently quite a bit, and I love him as a performer, and he always gets the crowd hot.
That's my first gig of wrestling. My first gig was managing him. So, yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, see, you learned something.
I was 17 years old, and that was my first gig.
Well, you have to get Stan to bring you out here to Maverick Pro or one of these Southern Cali indies. Like, how much have you worked outside of the East Coast area? I know you've kind of made that circuit.
To be honest, not much. I mean, there's some things in Texas that's in the works. What else? Yeah.
So you mainly work in the tri-state area, right?
Like I work, like up and down East Coast, basically. Yeah.
What are the promotions that you're normally in that people can check you out in?
Warriors Wrestling, East Coast Pro Wrestling. It was like my home areas. That's in New Jersey and Staten Island, and where else I wrestle? I wrestle somewhere.
You're a Tier 1 champ, right?
Yeah, I was Tier 1 champ. Tier 1 is now defunct, unfortunately.
Oh, I saw you there last April, not the one that just happened, the one 2017. You wrestled.
Evolve? Was that Evolve?
No, it was a big weekend for wrestling. So there were a ton of shows. People were doing like 3 or 4 spots that weekend. It was it was the early show, I think. It was no, I'm gonna forget his name.
Your memory's horrible.
It was that one guy and the other guy. I don't know if Darius was in it, but Keith Lee was in it.
So that was the same night as Evolve.
Yeah.
So that was myself, Keith Lee, Darius Carter, and Bobby Fish. Yes.
That was rad.
So much fun. I got eliminated first, but I still had honestly, it's one of my favorite matches ever.
You got your shit in still.
Yeah, the dynamic was cool. And Darius Carter and I were involved in this blood boil feud. It was crazy. Yeah.
And I think that we'll probably get a chance to see you a lot more after your Lucha Underground stuff starts airing. I have a feeling your bookings are going to go way up. I hope you don't have too much to do.
I think after that, people will definitely start to see me as a serious competitor, and that's kind of what I've always wanted. But I definitely want to maintain, the same bubbly, fun personality. But I'll still see me as a great, tough wrestler. So yeah, hopefully that's how they see me as. Because I can't reveal what happened, but I definitely can say people get to see me at my most vulnerable, most athletic I've been, most serious I've ever been. I even swore a few times, and I don't really swear. So you're gonna definitely see.
Well, Lucha Underground tends to do that. They tend to bring out things in people. Just in general, how much fun has it been working in the locker room? I know we can't talk about a lot of the specifics, but every time we get somebody who's new to Lucha Underground on the show, it seems like being a part of that family is a big deal to them. So how was the experience for you on that level?
Everyone is absolutely amazing. It's literally the best locker room ever. Everyone's super, super cool. I can't say exactly who, obviously, but I have my Lucha bestie. Who everyone's gonna freaking go crazy when they see him do all those crazy flips because he's just amazing. Then there's everyone else there. Yeah.
Can I ask?
I want to say so much, but honestly, I just can't.
Yeah.
There's gonna be.
Well, the good news is you can always come back after some episodes air, and then we can actually talk about some of that stuff too. But we did want people to get a chance to get to know you before because, I don't think this is giving anything away. I was there at every taping this season, and I can say that I certainly think that you are something special that people are really going to get into this season on Lucha Underground. And every season it's the first taping, I'll run up and I'll talk to EB Dub and I'll be like, oh dude, so what's going on? What's the new hotness and whatever. So, a couple years ago it was Dante Fox. And then this year I can honestly say that the person that EB Dub came up to me and started talking about was Sonny. And I was just like, he was like, you got to see some of this stuff. I hope we get this going the way we want to. And, you know, you got something to look forward to in this performer. And I can't say any more than that, but I will say that the one spoiler I will give is that you guys will be entertained by Sonny on Lucha Underground this season. It is going to be exciting, good, fun stuff. You were going to ask a question, Byron?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, since we couldn't go into too many details about your best friends in the locker room yet, I wanted to ask how you felt about the environment. Lucha Underground is kind of known for its like bloodthirsty, rabid fans who go crazy. And I was wondering if any of that stood out to you, or if basically when a lawyer comes out and does the disclaimer and then there's a bodily fluid chant, that kind of, were you warned before that happened?
I was aware because I obviously watched the show before. I wasn't really nervous or anything like that. It didn't startle me or anything like that because I knew I was gonna bring a different element to the show, and I wasn't worried about what other people were doing. I wasn't worried about what the kind of matches that other people on the roster were having. I knew that the Lucha Underground would utilize me in the best way possible, so I wasn't too worried about all that stuff. I just knew that I was gonna go in and kill it and be myself, and they would see me be myself, and I wouldn't have to do all that stuff to, get over. They would find another niche that they would like. The fans would see me as like who I was, and find something else that they would think it's cool. So, yeah.
I mean, you still have to put in a little bit of the work yourself, though. Were you worried about getting over on the West Coast, considering that you had mostly worked in tri-state area? I mean, I think Byron was probably one of the few people there that actually had seen you perform on the East Coast. I don't know that any of the rest of us had.
I was definitely nervous to obviously if people would like me or not, because everyone thinks about that, obviously, especially when you go to a place that's new, regardless of where it is. It's just, if it's a new place, you're kind of like, I hope they like me. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I was humble enough to obviously think that, but I was also confident enough to know the ability that I had, that it was going to wow them. So it was kind of like a combination of both. But I was definitely more worried. But at the same time, I still had that confidence in there that knew that once I started to do all that stuff, because that's what usually happens when I go to new places in any area. It's always my entrance is always the hell is that? No, seriously, it happens like that. And they're always like, what the hell has just walked out here? Who the hell is that? Ew. Then as soon as I start wrestling, it's oh, holy crap, oh. So it's always really funny, to see their reaction after the matches. And I think, what was it? Promotion C4, that's in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And they were kind of when I first walked out, they were kind of too. But as soon as I had this match with Speedball Mike Bailey, they were holy. Yes. And they literally they gave me a freaking standing ovation, and they all started banging on the mat, please come back. And I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. But yeah, I love when that happens. I don't mind it at all, and I get it. That's the thing. I get if people look at me and they're like, what the heck? I'm very avant-garde. I'm very unique and just different. And people call me wrestling's anomaly. I don't know. I guess that's a compliment, yeah. Because I am pretty different, but.
Well, I think in Lucha Libre wrestling, which Lucha Underground is kind of connected to at this point, you've always had the Exotico tradition, so I think there's a certain level of acceptance. But at the same time, you're not playing an Exotico character.
Not at all. And I appreciate you obviously noticing that. A lot of people always swear just because I'm feminine that I'm an Exotico. No. I'm just the wrestler like everybody else. Just the regular male wrestler.
Now, the chat room is, however, asking what would happen if you and Pimpinella Escalada had to throw down.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would love that.
I think Sonny would win.
Pimpy has some tricks up the sleeve, though.
That is true.
That'd be a pretty crazy battle. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting, and I know a lot of people are
no, I'm just kidding.
wondering if that's going to happen. You guys are going to have to watch Lucha Underground this season to see who they square Sonny up with. which in Lucha Underground, we discovered that you're going by the name Lishus. They released the list of names that were trademarked for this season. So is that name something that you came up with, or did DJ and those guys come up with it? Because I know you have like a Sonny Lishus t-shirt and you always, you use Sonny Kiss XO, so it makes sense. But was that something that you came up with, or did they come up with that for you?
It was. It was something that I came up with because they were like, "Oh, what do you want your name to be?" And for me, it was like, I wanted to be Sonny, obviously, but they were like, "No, we don't want to trademark your name." And I was like, "Okay, that makes sense." But yeah, I just thought of it, and I was just like, "What about XO?" Like, I kind of was like playing off ways to spell it, like EXO, and then X regular, just XO, and I guess they just went with XO and then Lishus. I'm not even sure how are they actually spelling it? Is it with the L-I-S?
The one that got registered, the way I saw it, was the letters XO and then Lishus.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think I had spelled it before that, like delicious, like Licious or something, like Exolicious, like that. But that's the way I saw it registered. So I'm gonna assume that that's how they're gonna go with it. Yeah. We'll know if all of a sudden there's t-shirts.
There should be t-shirts.
I hope so.
Well, Sonny's got t-shirts already on Pro Wrestling Tees, right?
I do.
Everybody go get that Sonny Lishus t-shirt right now.
What's the link real quick?
You had the link last time.
Tees.com/SunnyKiss.
There you go.
There you go. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
You guys got to get that merch. So how did this Lucha Underground thing come to be? How did this, and this is a story I actually don't know. Who contacted you? Who got you involved? Stryker put you up to this?
How did you know that?
I don't know. That was honestly a guess just because of the East Coast thing.
I'm not sure if you guys saw the tweet, but Stryker tweeted like a couple of months ago about his infatuation with me and like how like I told him I had a boyfriend. Yeah, he tweeted, I professed my love to Sonny Kiss, but he proceeded to tell me that he had a boyfriend, which is hilarious. I don't know if he was kidding or not, because you can't really tell with Matt. Matt is like a total jokester.
You have no idea with Matt at all.
Yeah. So I definitely think that he was putting the bug in the ear, but he didn't really do anything like hands on. It was just more of just, hey man, I know this guy and he's great, and that's literally what it was. And I think that they watched me, and then they contacted me on my birthday, and well, I think they watched me. Obviously, they had to. If they contacted me, but they contacted me on my birthday, and that was literally my birthday present from them. Like they were like, "Yeah, we want you to be on the new season of Lucha Underground," and I was like, "Oh my god, no way! Like, is this real?" DJ messaged me, and then he had to email me because I'm terrible with checking my messages. Obviously, you guys saw that.
Not too bad. We got you here, though. We got you here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like falling asleep and waking up and like, "Oh my god, what time is it?" But yeah. DJ messaged me, and the rest is history. I signed that contract, so.
Which is super duper awesome. We are actually ecstatic to have you. How long do they have you for?
I can't tell.
Well, I hope it's a long time. I hope they don't kill you off. I know how DJ is. He likes to kill people off every now and then.
You will see me around for a little while.
Man, me and DJ.
I can tell you.
If DJ, I'm letting everybody know right now. If DJ kills Sonny off, especially in this season, I'm gonna be heated. Me and DJ are gonna have words. He cannot kill you off because we know how he is.
They gotta do a movie if they want to kill me off.
DJ loves to play with people's emotions, though. He'll get everybody loving a character and then just be like, "Yeah, let's just kill him." Son of a bitch. So what other aspirations do you have? I mean, do you see yourself maybe trying to go to WWE down the line or other places? And, are you trying to, after this Lucha Underground thing blows up, I know that they're a little more loose with people going to other places now. Like what other stuff do you want to do besides Lucha?
I definitely want to do everything, all the above. I definitely want to be at the best places. Like, how can I say this without coming off as like weird or like rude or anything? Obviously, I want to be,
Right, we're talking in the future. We're talking down the line. We're not talking tomorrow. You know,
I would want to work for the greatest companies ever, and that's really it. I mean, there's acting that I want to do too as well. You know, I'm working on some music. That's hush hush. So yeah, can't really like talk.
We won't say anything.
Yeah, I'm working on some music, and there's a lot of things that on the horizons that I want to like dip and dab in. So yeah.
Well, it seems like sky's the limit. I mean, you've only been doing this, 5 years now?
Mm-hmm. 5 years.
That's a long time in wrestling, but it's also not a long time. I mean, it's like, it's just long enough to get yourself in trouble.
I've learned to manage things a lot better. Like, I've learned to, I've always been doing it, but like, excuse me. Nowadays, I just kind of just stick to myself and my friends, my crew. Yeah. When you learn how to like mind your business and kind of like not always have an opinion about something on the internet or just trying to post things to like stir up, I feel like, you can do no wrong if you do that. If you just stay in your lane and worry about yourself and worry about your people, you'll do just fine. Like now, my boyfriend and I, like it's literally us against the world. We just travel together and we just do our thing with wrestling
And now he's a wrestler too. So is it strange dating another performer, or does that make it better that you guys are in the same world? Because I've heard both stories.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really like I would say it's up to you two. Like in the relationship, I feel like people make it harder than what it is. It's not that complicated. What's so hard about like, keeping your here's the thing. It's supposed to be secrecy, not privacy, but secrecy. There's a difference. I think people, privacy, not secrecy. Yeah. People should be more private relationships, but not a secret. And I feel like you don't have to tell all of your business and tell all that you're doing. They can just see the product you guys are, and that's that. But we're really, really good. We really don't have any fights or arguments. We're just in love, and we love wrestling, and that's really it.
Meatflow, if you've been quiet over there, you got any questions for Sonny?
Oh no, I started watching some videos earlier on.
Oh.
And I enjoyed Bree. And then there was I really love the spot with a splits with a arm drag.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I was just like, holy shit. And on the talk of the Exotico thing was I think is it Cassandro was like one of the first like real openly gay wrestlers, and he wrestles as Exotico, but like TNA signed wrestler. But in terms of questions, we're gonna have to get you to the UK.
Wait, what's that? I couldn't hear that. I'm sorry.
We're gonna have to get you to the UK.
What's it gonna get to the UK?
He wants you to come to England.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know. I guess y'all have to talk to some people for me. I would love to wrestle in the UK. I love the UK garage scene. I think UK garage music is like, it's so underrated, especially in America. Like I would love to like go to like the UK the clubs and hear all the UK garage going on. So yeah.
See, now you have a tour guide. Meef will take you to some spots. Look up, find some places.
Show me around.
Yeah, Meatloaf you've met up with a few of your favorite wrestlers that have gone over there, haven't you?
Yeah, Penta and Phoenix.
Yeah,
quite a lot. So,
how about Cuerno or Phantasma? Have you gotten him over there?
No. No one wants to pay his fee.
Oh.
Well then.
I don't know if we should be talking his business, Meatloaf, like that.
No, I think it's good. They need to pay. They need to get Heel Phantasma over there and pay that money because he's good. He's a star in 3 promotions.
I've offered to pay parts of it. But it's difficult because obviously flying here you have like £1,000 worth of flight, and then you've got to try and get someone else to all shows running in one area. and like kind of making it worthwhile for the travel and also the expense.
Sonny, do you have a passport?
Of course. Yeah.
Awesome. Global entry or pre-check?
What's that?
Global entry or pre-check?
Pre-check.
It's pre-check. Nice.
Yeah, nobody spends the money for the global entry except you, Byron.
I did. It's not that much. I forgot how much it costs.
Time to get it.
What?
So, Sonny, who are your favorite wrestlers? Like the wrestlers that you look up to? I know you said you emulated a lot of the other female performers, but who are the wrestlers that really did it for you? That are like, okay, if I'm going to watch 3 different people's matches, it would be these people.
You mean like indie or like obviously like
it could be indie, WWE, anybody, old,
like,
new, current.
I'm a huge Van Damme fan. I love Rob Van Dam. I think
you do the split-legged moonsault.
He is an innovator. Period. Like he is just absolutely amazing. Then there's Rey Mysterio, who's another innovator. Like he's just so amazing. There's the Hardy Boys. There's like the whole like. I just love everybody. I'm one of those people who like watches wrestling. I love everybody. So, but I was also a big fan of Trish and Lita, the rivalry like that they had. I love Jericho. I love Kurt Angle. I love so many people. Like I love everybody. So,
what do you think of Jericho? Just a side note, hit the stuff he's doing in Japan.
I don't know too much about it actually. I wasn't really paying attention.
Oh.
What exactly is going on?
He had the match at Wrestle Kingdom with Omega.
Yeah.
But awesome. He just came back and did one appearance and jumped Naito. He was wearing a Bushi mask in the stands, and he attacked Naito when he walked by, and he took the mask off, and he had Bushi wear his eye and that makeup, and so he looked way more different than how he looked like the week prior at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Like he was so much more edgier, and he got Naito to bleed, and it was awesome. He's like I don't know, like R-rated version of Chris Jericho now. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds crazy.
But yeah, he's gonna wrestle at Dominion if you're into New Japan.
Which clearly Byron is, by the way, as you can tell.
I kind of am. So if you're a Jericho fan, that'll be a fun match.
Good though, but it's like, oh my god, it's so like the matches are so long.
There's a lot of wrestling out there right now. I mean,
it's really good stuff, but like, oh my god, like sometimes it's like.
Well, I've been watching Impact now, and then you got all the WWE that's on, and I've been watching AAA again. Like, I don't get to New Japan much anymore because of all the other stuff I'm watching, and I've been watching a lot of the local indies around here and whatnot, and MLW too. Like, good gracious, I swear, I think last week I must have watched like 16 hours worth of wrestling.
Oh my god,
it's crazy. That's too much. I love wrestling, but that's too much.
There's a lot.
What are you watching? What are you watching? You don't like the long matches?
I do, but like, you know, it's hard to really like sit there and like, I don't know, just be like fully entertained for like hours and hours and hours. You have to take a break. Like, it's like, I just need a break. Like, oh my god, this is like way too much. But no, all of it's really, really, really good stuff. Like I said, like, wasn't Wrestle Kingdom like 11 hours?
Oh my god, I was almost late to work. It started, I think, at 3, and I had to work at 8. And I watched, like, I saw the 3 count, and then I put my clothes on and drove to work. It's a long show.
Well, and over here, if you're watching it live, it's in the middle of the night, kind of like what we're doing.
Pause and watch, some here and then some there.
Yeah. But you got to know the main event.
Well, like, I mean,
my thing.
You can watch it at any time. Like, that's why, like, I would just pause it and just, because it's a lot of wrestling, and that's like, whoa,
that's the way to do it. If I can't get it on demand on my timeline, I like when Lucha Underground is airing. That's probably the one show that I watch every week live, but it's only an hour.
Yeah.
Which is great. And that's part of what I think makes the show so good. It's like they have an hour, they're solid stuff, it's well edited, the stories were crafted ahead of time, so they're not like hot-shotting things out of nowhere. I mean, I wish more wrestling shows could do that, and I think that Impact is starting to take advantage of that as well with a lot of their storytelling and really trying to map things out ahead of time. So, and hopefully they can keep that going now that they seem to have a fairly regular structure in the back now without, some new owner coming in every 2 weeks. Maybe they can keep the ball rolling. And I think AAA is starting to do that right now too. I mean, I just watched that AAA event they had because Kevin Cross.
They just put on a good show.
Yeah, they're back. They're back. But I don't know. The whole wrestling world is interesting and exciting, and we get people like Sonny that are, new faces and new names, which is the other thing that surprises me too. We get our favorites and you have them, and then a new person comes along and actually like gets added to your list of like, oh my God, there's still great performers coming up out there.
Well,
I'm excited. I'm excited that you came on to talk to us now, because I know in the area that you currently work in a lot, like you're known, and I've talked to Hoke about you. The Twitter gift guy, who's amazing. He's awesome.
Legend.
And I knew when I saw you, when you walked down to the ring the first time at Lucha, like now that you're going to be on a wrestling show that's it's nationwide, if not global wide, like that's going to be a big deal. And
if you saw how nervous I was like going to poop myself. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God. Like this. Whew,
yeah.
Bad.
Well, I'm glad we got you before you became too big of a deal to come onto our show, which I don't know what episode that'll be, but
it's not going to be too far. It's going to be before the end of summer.
Yeah.
You guys are so sweet.
Sonny's going to be mad crazy over. I think you're going to really get over in Germany too. They like Lucha Underground over there, and I think that your character is definitely going to resonate well with the German audience as well.
I will say this with the Lucha tapings, that it was a new crowd. They didn't, a lot of the people didn't know who you were. And also there was like a new crowd on separate days, and you won a new crowd over every single time without a history in Lucha Underground. So we didn't know what stories or anything was going on. You just came out and starting fresh, won over a room full of people every single time. I think any show.
There were a few people that were there every time that started some chants and stuff, Byron.
Okay. So are you trying to get a manager cut?
No, Justin? I'm just saying some of us, recognize talent and try to make sure that everybody is getting as amped up as they should be.
I appreciate that.
It was a little strange this year because there were a lot of new faces from one taping to the next. And in previous years, there's been a lot of regulars, but there was a couple of weekends in there, especially the second weekend was almost an entirely new crowd from the first weekend that I think that you were there. So it was kind of almost a reset and like reteaching the audience of like, hey, this is what's going on. But I didn't see you have too much trouble at all getting over. So
yeah.
It's more so my own, insecurities. Obviously, every performer, every entertainer, every person has insecurities. And I feel like a lot of it is my own insecurity. Like worrying so much. But I guess once I hit the freaking stairs, for there, you usually say curtain, but for there it's stairs. It's like it's time now. You know what I mean? So then I just put my game face on and it's like I'm ready now. Because even though people see me and super bubbly, super energetic, I'm really, really shy. A lot of people don't know that, but I am incredibly shy. Very much so. Very, very shy. Even when people meet me and I'm always like, hi. Yeah, thank you. Hi. I'm always so shy. It's just because I get overwhelmed, especially when I get nice remarks. Because it's so I don't know. it means a lot to me, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think you're going to have to get used to it because I have a feeling you're going to A, get recognized a lot more, and B, a lot of people are going to appreciate when they finally get a chance to see you in that national spotlight. So better get used to it.
I'll try.
You can still be shy, but I think that you're definitely going to get a few more people walking up to you like, "Hey, aren't you XO from that thing?" And you're going to get quite a bit of that.
That happened to me twice, actually, when I was living out in LA, for the tapings. And basically what happened was I was going to Target, and like I was going down an escalator, and someone startled me because the person like ran up behind me. Like, hey, it's you're EXO. And it was just like, yeah, really, really like overwhelming. And then it happened like outside of my hotel, which was quite awkward, but I'm trying to like, I'm like, yeah, hi, it's so good to meet you. And really, like, I'm just kind of like, oh my God, you scared the living crap out of me.
Well, especially if they were people that were at tapings and recognized you, I mean, it really is like a big family out here with a lot of the performers and and the audience. They know, like, a lot of the performers just know us from being there, and it is kind of a big happy family. So we'll bump into each other at random places, and just hey.
You lived in LA for the tapings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you find any pizza that would compare to New York pizza? I know that's a hotly debated.
I ate pizza and I don't remember where it was from, so that's probably a bad sign.
Well, I know there's like Tony's Pizza sort of near where the old temple used to be.
I don't remember.
But like
that's pretty good.
I ordered from Uber Eats, and I don't remember where the pizza was from. I don't know anything about the place. I never even knew it existed.
Yeah.
So that's probably a sign that it's not better than New York pizza. Sorry.
Papa John.
All right.
Hey, Byron, before we let Sonny go, are there any questions from the chat room that we need to get to that I missed? I saw the
chat room. Someone said me should pay the fee.
I'm just looking. Okay, Zeus asked, how long has Sonny been in wrestling and who inspired Sonny to wrestle? Well, we know that you've been in about 5 years, but was there an inspiration for you to get into wrestling?
Like I said, just Van Dam, Mysterio, Trish, Lita, Jacqueline, women's wrestling as a whole. But that's like my core group, the Hardy Boys. Yeah.
Well, Van Dam's a great one. I mean, that
Van Dam is like my number one. Like, I think he is incredible, and I actually got to meet him at the tapings. I don't know if you guys knew he was there, whatever. But he came with Katie one of the nights, and it was really, really cool because Katie was like, "We're gonna come through." And I was like, "Oh, she's gonna bring Rob Van Dam, who's like my idol." So it was really cool to like meet him. But yeah, that's like my core group right there. But women's wrestling definitely is a huge inspiration, along with those guys that inspired me. So yeah.
My favorite wrestling feud, I think, of all time is probably Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn.
Oh my God! Yes, series of matches.
They could just always have a match.
Yeah,
Sabu too. Like Sabu, I feel like I just admired the way he put his body on the line all the time. So I loved him. Like I loved everything about him.
Admire Sabu from afar. Don't ever be Sabu because the human body cannot possibly handle what that man has gone through.
Oh my God! And then you have like HBK and Triple H and their feud. Like, oh my God, like stuff like that. Like I just love really, really good feuds. I'm a sucker for that. So yeah.
Who's this? Rebecca wants. What's that, Meef?
Raven Dreamer. I can't believe you no-sold Raven Dreamer.
No, I love Raven and Dreamer, and I like that storyline. But for the actual in-ring work, man, you can't. For me, it's Rob Van Dam and Lynn.
I love Tommy Dreamer too. Tommy Dreamer, honestly, it's like he gives me like so much advice every time I see him. It's always like, he always watches my matches and always like, yo, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this, and he's just so awesome. Like I love him.
Rebecca wants to know, who is your football team?
I don't really have one. I don't watch football these days. My family, they're Giants fans, and then one of my other roommates that I live with now is a Packers fan. And I haven't watched football in a very long time, probably since Super Bowl 2012, something like that. I don't remember what that was. Whenever was that? But I don't have a favorite football team. But basketball, I like the Knicks.
Hey,
what's your hockey team?
Oh God, no one has a hockey team.
Sorry, I apologize.
I'm trying to get Byron to understand that you don't ask black folks about hockey. It's never going to go anywhere, Byron.
Oh, you don't have to make it about race, Justin. I heard
that something exciting happened in Vegas.
The most annoying thing to me, second most annoying thing to me about Vegas going to the Cup Finals, first one is the fact that they were handed their team by the league. They're an expansion team, so it's the first year. But the second most annoying thing about it is how happy it makes the Disco Inferno.
And the third most annoying thing about it is you're still talking about hockey.
So the thing about hockey is it's the greatest sport on earth.
Now, this is actually an interesting question. J-Bone would like to know what your thoughts are on intergender wrestling.
Prior to Lucha Underground, I didn't want to do it at all. And I didn't want any parts with it because I felt like promoters wanted me to do it more so for a sexuality reason rather than an empowering reason. They wanted me to do it because they're like, oh, you're feminine. Oh, you're like a girl. You can work that girl too. And my whole thing is the women's story is very similar to the gay story. Being an openly gay wrestler and being a female in wrestling is very similar because being openly gay wrestler, you have to fight for barriers just like them. You're fighting to be looked at as equal, and fighting a woman because other people see that as a way like that you're equal to them in that realm as opposed to empowerment. I felt like that's the reason why I didn't want to do it. But now I look at it in a different light. Lucha Underground kind of helped me, feel that way. But yeah, no, I love the fact that women are breaking barriers, and so are openly gay wrestlers like myself. So yeah, I think it's great now. I mean, everyone should be able to I think Evilise could kick my butt. You know what I mean? So it's like
she's tough.
That's the cool thing about Lucha Underground too. Is it's like everyone can face off with anyone. It could be Taya and Cage one week, and then it could be Cage and Penta the next week, and then it could be Penta and Pimpy the next week. Like it doesn't matter. Like
but I wanted to tell a story of I'm tough too. I can go like any other guy would, regular guy. You know what I mean, or like straight guy. So I had that like mentality of just like, don't let me work women because you want me to work women because you think I am a woman. Let me wrestle against the guys so I can show you I can go with them. That I'm just as tough as any one of them. And that's all. That's really what it was.
Which I think is fairly accurate. I like that. See, now that was a good question. Thank you, J-Bone.
Thank you, J-Bone.
J-Bone throwing out the solid questions. Byron, did you have anything else?
I'm
giving you your chance. We have. We're good. We're kind of good at this, Byron. We've learned how to do this after 94 episodes. We're getting close to episode 100 too, and we got to find a whole lot of exciting guests to put on one episode.
That's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, you better start booking it now.
Sonny, do you want to come back for episode 100?
I'd love to come back anytime. I have so much fun talking to you guys.
Well, it has been awesome having you on the show. Thank you so much for doing this. I hope we weren't too much of a pain in the ass. As everyone can tell you, we are relentless at times when we were trying to get a great new guest. And a lot of this, the new cast of Lucha Underground this season, I'm really excited for everybody out there to see. And Sonny was right at the top of that list. Absolutely. Plus, EV Dub would have kicked my butt if you weren't at the top of the list, because I know EV Dub is a huge fan as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on the show, everybody. If you look down in the description, you can find Sonny's Twitter on there. Go to Pro Wrestling Tees. You got any shows coming up that people should know about that they should go out and get tickets for? Or anything else you want to plug in general?
Well, there's Warriors Wrestling. I'm terrible with these dates. I don't ever really keep up with my dates. I am awful with that. There's Warriors Wrestling coming up. What else is coming up? you so much. I'm terrible at this. Forgive me.
Do you have them on your Twitter?
Oh my God.
Let's look this up. Do you have them on your Twitter?
Yeah, I just share the posters, honestly, and then like.
All right, you have
on this day. I'm wrestling. Was it Delaware? I forgot the date. Was it? Oh my God, this is so bad. Promoters, forgive me for forgetting the dates, but yeah. There's my.
What is your
on Twitter and Instagram and all other stuff. So my Twitter and Instagram have the same handle. So at SonnyKissXO and Facebook.com/SonnyKiss1 and obviously ProWrestlingTees.com/SonnyKiss. I have pretty awesome. It's not just Bootylicious, it's Sunnylicious t-shirts on there. And yes, my booty is real.
Oh, you know what? That was the second question, and I skipped right over it. No,
that was in the chat room. Thank you, Paul Cross, for the chat question. Room? Yeah, Paul Cross was asking it. We completely looked it over.
My booty is absolutely 100% 41 inches of realness.
Now, see, and for those who haven't seen you yet, part of the move set definitely involves a little bit of twerking. There's definitely some booty bumping going on, and it's
what do you call that one move? Sorry to cut you off. This is really important.
Where she does the head scissors
in the corner, like a head scissors.
Yeah,
I call it. Well, I called it prior to Lucha Underground the Kiss My Sass, but I'm obviously gonna have to change it to make it something cooler. I don't know for Lucha Underground, so I'll figure it out.
Cool.
I bet Striker's got it squared away for you. I'm sure he had some name for it on commentary. Who knows?
Probably something super like corny and lame,
or completely inappropriate considering you have a boyfriend. Who knows with Striker?
True. That's a good point.
Well, and who knows what makes it into the show too? Because as we found out from when we had Striker on the show, him and Vamp get really weird and inappropriate at times, and then just make him do it again or something. I don't know.
You're gonna see some interesting things, and even probably a spot, something involving Matt Striker and I. So,
hey,
yeah, you're gonna see
like
something funny that we've done on one of the tapings, and yeah.
We've been waiting for Striker to get interested.
All right, so June. What's that, Byron?
We've been waiting for Striker to get involved. Vampiro's out there going through, flaming tables and through thumbtacks. Striker's just
crazy, hanging out. Like something small and cute that you're gonna see. That's actually, it's gonna be like quite interesting to see that. Just at the middle of nowhere. So I can't wait for you guys to go like, oh snap! Like when you guys see it.
I hope it's during the episode where he's wearing our shirt, because he actually wore one of our shirts during an episode this season. So here's hoping we get some cross promotion. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Sonny. And June 13th, everybody, is the premiere of season 4 of Lucha Underground. Everybody watch it. Check out what Sonny is bringing to the table. We get to hopefully see that whole flash dance scene now. Get to see a lot more of you in the ring. Go check out some of the clips that you can find on the internet and the interwebs too of Sonny Kiss doing his thing on the.
Honestly, okay, you can obviously it's there for a reason, but if I could just say something, like my work between 2013 to maybe early 20 maybe I don't know. My work for the first 4 years, please erase it.
See, you say that now, but 10 years from now, you'll be, in the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, and you'll be like, oh, don't look at my old Lucha Underground tapes. Everybody thinks that whatever they did 5-6 years ago is terrible.
True. Yeah. But Lucha Underground is my best work yet. I will say that. And people are going to see a different side of Sonny Kiss or a different side of Exolicious, I should say. Or a new side of me, which is Exolicious. So, all right. Yeah.
We are definitely looking forward to it, Sonny. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. And anytime you want to come back, you got a standing invitation. So if you got something to promote or something to talk about, or you get excited after you see yourself on Lucha Underground and you want to come talk about it, you just hit us up and you are welcome anytime.
Well, if you guys want to have an entertaining chat, you're welcome to just message me too. So.
You got it. Thank you so much. XOXO.
Bye, XO.
Bye.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. LuchaCentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
We made it to 100 freaking episodes.
What's happening here?
Oh my God!
Whoa, I know that voice.
Kiss.
What?
Holy shit!
I am totally sorry about the video. Oh my God, I totally slipped my mind. I was struggling over here.
What's up, Sonny? You're live, by the way. We're doing the show right now. Yes. Little Cholo is on with us right now too. Paul London stopped by earlier.
To prepare. Oh my God.
You don't have to be prepared for us. We're just winging it. We're just having a party. We are celebrating.
Yes.
And for y'all who don't know, anybody who hasn't been watching Lucha Underground Season 4, first of all, is missing out. One of the biggest debuts of new talent this year was Sonny Kiss as Lishus.
Yes.
All right, you got to tell me, Sonny, what has the response been like for real? Like, has it been just a trip? Has it been blowing your mind? Were you expecting it?
It's definitely mixed, but it's more mixed to positive. The negative I haven't really been paying attention to. I really don't even care, to be honest. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are just ignorant, like, period, to the LGBTQ community in general. So they don't really understand the difference between flamboyant, feminine, masculine, the certain terminology that we have. And people are completely ignorant to it. And I don't feel like explaining it. I don't think I should explain myself. Then there's the comparisons, to other people in different companies. And I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just no reason for me to explain myself. It's ridiculous.
Well, I think your performance this season will speak for itself. And
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people, they got a quick taste. And I think, yeah, like you said, they're ignorant and everything is kind of founded in just really.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, I get it. Like, I totally get it. Like, if you're not from that or you don't know much about it, I guess I get it with the whole pronouns thing. And, I'd rather you not call me they. Like, it's just so weird. People call me they. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so weird to me, but I guess I get it. You don't want to, be disrespectful, but yeah. I'd rather you just assume and call me a he or a she. Like, don't call me they.
Well, which is funny. I mean, look.
I think he's reading his hand.
When we had you on, we asked, so we knew.
Yeah.
And other people may not necessarily know you to ask. So that's one of the other reasons why we just try to put out the information out there too and be respectful. But I think your story makes perfect sense. And just you are mere hits away from being our highest rated episode ever, which is pretty amazing because the highest rated episode right now is your boss, EVW.
I'm not surprised.
But I mean, look, he came on and his episode, he's been on a couple times, but his episode that is our highest rated episode, he was breaking serious news about season 4, talent contracts, shit that everybody in the whole wrestling world wanted to know.
Wait though. Was that episode one I was on? Because I was cramming for finals or something during Sonny's episode. I apologize for that.
Oh, Sonny,
I wanted to be here.
Casey. This is our other co-host, Casey, and also our homeboy Urban Heretic 187, who used to be on the original Lucha Underground podcast, The Last Real Heels. But his tag team partner has zero kind of internets these days. So
yeah,
Urban, you weren't here when Sonny was on either. So Casey and Urban, do either of you guys have any questions for Sonny?
No, I have a question. I have a question.
One at a time.
I have a question.
All right, Casey, go first.
Go. No, let Urban go. Come on.
Oh,
You have the first podcast. Let's do this.
I have a question. How do you have I don't know the problem. How do you work out your ass? Because you have like such a nice ass, and it's legit. Like I'm not fucking around here. Are you smuggling hams? What's going on? I just need to know.
No, I'm not smuggling hams.
Look, if you got it going on, you got it going on. What it just is what it is.
It's a question.
It's genetics, definitely. But I do work it out. It's genetics, but I do work it out a lot to kind of maintain and to continue building it. I'm at 42 inches now, so we're doing okay, but it could be a little bit. Yeah.
This shit is real. Like, look,
we got some
Byron. If you see that in your debut, I don't know if you noticed this, but during your debut, me and Byron and this other dude, Victor, who always comes to the temple, we were sitting right at the front of the Believers bleachers. And that first time you came out of the ring, you did a dive out of the ring, and then you stopped and you were twerking it out. And it was the three of us right in front of you. You see us on TV like. Shit was amazing. And I had forgot we were sitting right there at that spot, but it was hilarious. We saw you do that dive, and then you just start twerking it out, and then the three of us, and Victor is looking at me, and he's got like serious Latino machismo. And he just grabbed me like, oh shit, what just happened? And you won the crowd over though with it. Like we had no clue who you were. Byron knew because he had seen you in New York, but nobody else knew. Nobody else knew. And the whole crowd right then was just like, oh shit, this is the best ever.
That's so funny.
It's awesome. And I had a statement more than a question. It's like, I'm on the internet. I go on message boards where people hate everything and they loved you. So that's like an awesome thing. Like
there's some hate there too. But it's like, okay, like here's the thing about the hate that I get. Like, and I'm fine with it because it's all strictly about my sexuality. Like none of it's about like my wrestling skills. So I'm cool with that. Like it's all like complete ignorance. Like they're not saying anything about my wrestling skills. So if they did, I'd be like, okay, like that's something to perfect. But if they're just talking about my sexuality, like that's whack. Like so,
yeah, the one thing I had to correct on that message board I go to is that people started saying exotico. I'm like, no, Sonny's not an exotico. Listen to our podcast right now. Listen, and so now it might be the highest rated episode if those guys listen too. Which I don't know how I feel about that because I wasn't on that episode.
Oh, Casey, I mean, I feel bad for you, brother, but Sonny's got it like that. What you gonna do?
I know. I was like busy writing a lesson plan or something boring and couldn't do the podcast. That sucks. But now I can say
because I was gonna go to sleep. I was like literally just
yeah, it's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh,
these guys, we do the podcast on Los Angeles time, and these guys make me stay up late all the time.
Now,
it's
look,
ridiculous.
in our defense, though, Byron, you were living on the West Coast when we started doing this podcast.
Yeah, we used to do this in my living room, and I used to order pizza.
All together, not like in little boxes and like the Brady Bunch and shit. And
I know technology is so weird, so weird. Well, thank you, Sonny. We don't want to keep you up. We're so happy you stopped by, though. We wanted, you've been one of our top guests ever, so I'm so happy that you were able to pop in.
I was a little startled, but I'm good.
I was just like, look, I've been drinking. I'm not going to lie. I had a couple cocktails. I was like, fuck it. I'm about to just send Sonny an invite, see what he's up to, see if he'll swing through for a minute.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonny.
Bye.
Appreciate you. We will see you again soon, and you'll have to come back on the show as we see more of you throughout the season because I think it's going to trip people out. They're gonna lose their minds. Y'all have only seen the beginning of Sonny.
You think so?
I think so, and I think some of the haters will come around. And look, there's still going to be haters out there. There's people like,
of course.
Thunder Rosa was on here a minute ago too, and she's still getting haters from the first time. Like she got shit on real hard on her first couple of appearances, and some of those people still shit on her. But at the same time, she got a whole lot of fans now too.
Yeah, there's always going to be like, I mean, even the most popular people in the world have haters. I mean, like The Rock has haters, and look at him. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like, even Kim Kardashian, like people are like, oh, she's just a talentless woman, but you know, she has more money and more fame than a lot of people. So it's like, you let people do them. That's kind of how I see it. Like, it's just ridiculous how people just have no other thing going on in their life, so they're just making fun of other people and just, you know, going at people on the internet. It's so whack.
Yeah, but people will recognize too, because honestly, and this is the thing that blows my mind about it. People talked about Sammy Guevara coming to Lucha Underground for a long time, and he showed up there, and it was good. Everybody was cool with it. Everybody liked Sammy G. Fucking Jake Strong, Jack Swagger showed up, and that was a big deal, and it got a big pop. But I'm here to tell you, the response to you moved the needle more than both of them. It really did.
Well,
that's a big deal.
Sammy Guevara is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. Like, let me just say that.
Oh, straight fire. Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing.
No disagreement whatsoever. Straight fire.
I think with them two, like with Jake, and you know, he's incredible as well.
I love Jake. He's the nicest guy in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love him. But yeah, I think what me was just more so of something that was different, which is cool because that's what I wanted. I wanted that kind of reaction. I wanted the, oh my God, what's this? You know, because that always happens to me. So I mean, I'm fine with that. Like, I get it. I get the demographic is different, and the perceptions obviously gonna be different because I mean, obviously they see high flyers and they know who Jack Swagger is, but for me, it's like, oh my God, like what is that? Like literally, that's how they say. Like so.
I think the biggest thing is that out of all the new people so far, you have been the most unknown on a national scale, and you stepped like the second you stepped out. Like you were instantly just welcomed, and you were a big deal, and you impressed everyone.
And controversial.
And yeah, but it's, I mean, there's that aspect of it, but still, you went out there and you performed and you put on a match that everyone loved. You were someone that everyone had to keep their eyes on, and you're someone that everyone wants to see again the next time you're going to be on the show. And the other guys, they were great, and they did great. Like, they did what was expected of them. And for you, like, you're one of the first newcomers on Lucha Underground who won the debut match, you know? And I think
mostly
it's
people
just
get killed in their first match, don't they?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a much bigger deal for you. I mean, the people in the Northeast, in the Tri-State area who've seen you wrestle and who follow those Twitter accounts like okay and get to see the highlights of what you do, they know what you're about. But a lot of people didn't, and a lot of people now have gotten a taste. A lot of people have seen it, and a lot of people already love it. And I think that's a huge
taste.
That had to be Evie Dub, by the way. I guarantee DJ probably wrote for Sonny to get squashed the fuck out in his first match, and I bet Evie Dub was like, "No, DJ, let's do something different." You know it was Evie Dub. The DJ was probably like, I like to squash everybody.
As well.
I just can't believe the company actually like believed in me to do that, you know? Because like that takes a lot. And I guarantee it was like, you know, they were like, can he do this? Can he pull it off? So it's like, yeah, I'm glad they actually let me get the ball and run with it. That's really cool.
Yeah, we're very happy about it. And I'm like, look, people have only gotten this much of a taste of what's going on. I think, you know, the presentation that you have in Lucha Underground does get even more refined. And, you know, and I talked to Lucha Blog and a lot of these other guys that are really sensitive to what's going on and coming into Lucha Underground. And these are the guys that will pick it apart. And even Casey himself, I mean, these are the guys that are true connoisseurs of Lucha Libre and will pick shit apart. And they were like, wow, that was Sonny's debut. You know, does it get worse or whatever? And I'm like, no, it actually gets better, you know, and that's legit. I believe that. Like, I think that the presentation gets refined. I think that the move set gets dialed in for what the Lucha Underground presentation is over the course of the season. I think that you and the agents and the other performers really did a good job of honing the whole thing in and making it work perfectly. So
well, I appreciate that actually, because I'm very, very, very shy. And I was telling you on the last podcast, yeah, I'm like really, really shy. So I always wonder if people can tell that I'm really shy, because I really am. Like, And it's so crazy because people look at me and they're like, "Oh my god, like you're so out and loud, out and proud, and you're twerking, you're doing all this stuff in the ring." But really, like in my head, I'm like, "Oh my god, I hope they like me. Oh my god, I hope they like me." Like it's so crazy.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome, and it was definitely like, because I was talking to these guys, not a winning or losing thing, but even just like as much as a showcase of a new star in the company, this is one of the most effective ones that the company's ever done. And that's awesome. And to hear from Justin and Byron, who are at the tapings and keep accidentally spoiling stuff to me, that it only gets better.
Spoilers.
It's even better. This is awesome.
I mean, I was legit impressed because that is a tough room to win over. I like Jesse Goddard, but at the same time, he had trouble winning over that Lucha Underground crowd. He came in, a couple people knew.
I think they loved him.
I think when he came out the second time, it got over better than the first time. But you came out the first time working a match. And Jack Evans deserves some credit too, because he definitely healed that crowd the fuck out. I mean,
working with him, oh my god, I honestly think he's one of the greatest wrestlers in the world as well. I think he's like in the top, like maybe 5. Like he's so amazing. Like everything he does is perfection.
And he's been that way.
Top 5. Keep him in your top 5 because he definitely did help get you over. Because everybody was like ready to shit on him if you were even halfway good. But it worked. The whole thing worked. Like, I don't know who came up with it, whose idea it was to put the two of you together, who agented the match. I don't know, but kudos to all of you guys because it just flat out worked.
I don't remember. Who did agent that match?
I feel like it. Was it Paul?
Was it Paul? I don't remember at all. This is terrible.
I don't know, because I think I talked to Paul after that one, and I think he asked me what I thought about it, and I think I told him I was like, "Damn, it was fucking great." So I think it might have been Paul.
What? Oh my god, I don't remember. Oh my god. It might have been Chavo though. It could have been Paul or Chavo.
But I don't know if because Chavo had a match too, didn't he?
Yeah, but he was still aging at the same time.
All right. Might have been. Chavo, who I can't get on this show to save my life, and I talk to him all the time.
He's like
he's in Hawaii right now.
He's always busy.
He's in Hawaii.
Chavo and his broke ass arm are in Hawaii right now. He can't be on the show because he's in Hawaii.
And his what?
He's in Hawaii. His arm. He messed up his arm at Lucha versus Impact.
Oh yeah.
He tore his bicep or something, and I talked to him a couple days later. He still finished the match. He came out and did the Lucha premiere spot and everything while his shit was just ripped up, and then he went in the next day. I think he was even supposed to do more while he was down at WrestleMania or WrestleCon or whatever, and then had to bail out because he was jacked up bad. Shit happens. Man. But anyway, thank you so much, Sonny.
Thank you, Sonny.
Thank you, Sonny.
You the bomb. Sorry we kept you up late.
It's fine. Luckily, I don't have anything to do tomorrow. I'm just gonna relax with my boyfriend. So,
well, you guys enjoy, and we cannot wait to see your next appearance on the show. And you gotta promise to come back late in the season so we can talk about all this shit finally after everybody else in the world sees it.
Okay, episode 6, I think, is the dance segment. So, hey.
Oh, shit. Okay. That's gonna be good.
Yo, get with me on that glute fucking workout. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, don't be afraid to call me. You have my number. Wink, wink. Late.
Thanks, Sonny. Appreciate you.
Bye, Sonny.
Bye.
Lucha-Masks.com by Pro Wrestling Revolution. Bringing you, in partnership with Masked Republic, the Lucha Brothers, as well as Japanese legend Ultimo Dragon. Go to lucha-masks.com and fight Lucha Strong with masks from your favorite Lucha legends and Pro Wrestling Revolution luchadores. Stay safe in style and represent your favorite luchador. Get yours now at lucha-masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
So, go to lucha-masks.com. Did I do it right this time? Lucha-masks.com. pick up your gear, get your mask, get your face all right. People are starting to go back out into the world. Things are happening. So you got to be decked out the right way. You don't want one of those. Do I have one up here? You don't want these anymore. You don't want the generic face mask. You don't want that.
No, you look like a dork wearing those.
No, I got boxes and boxes of these things now, and I'm not going to wear them. I'm going to get my butt on lucha-mask.com.
You don't want to buy a mask from another site.
What is even still left though, man? Can I even still get the Conan or the disco one? I don't even know what's left anymore.
There's new ones. They're always coming out with new shit. Because remember,
if you get a message at 3 a.m., do not buy a mask off Steve Payne.
Okay. Well, I don't. I'm getting. I ordered. Let's see. I ordered a Mad one from Hoovy, so I'll see that by the next pandemic.
If he sends that one to Connecticut as well, I'll be able to. That
son of a bitch, man! If you guys don't know what Hoovy did to me last year on those Mad T-shirts, man, go back and watch our old episodes. It was bullshit. I still got fucking heat with Hoovy. Anyway, that was
amazing.
That was an amazing. Those were two amazing moments with Sonny Kiss. I hope you guys really appreciate what he's doing out there. Byron, I know that you're a big fan of Sonny's.
Yeah, no, I had seen a little bit of Sonny's work before we saw him in Lucha Underground. He was a big name on the indie scene in the tri-state area, New Jersey, New York, and the third one. And
nice.
And he, he stood out to me because he had that. First of all, he stands out. And then he has a little bit of an
you can say it, Byron. The booty is nice.
Well, I mean, first of all, that's a whole.
He ain't gonna be mad about it.
That's a whole different conversation.
We know you're not moving in on his boyfriend, even though you look similar. We know it's okay to say that Sonny's got the juicy booty, and it stands out. It's okay.
Who was Sonny wrestling when you saw him up there?
I don't. Okay, so I saw him. Just on YouTube doing some matches before I came out here, and it's just gotcha. He still fucked people up. He was throwing forearms. He was working super stiff. And I was like, this guy fucks people up. That's awesome. And so when I saw him in Lucha Underground, I didn't know he was in the building, and my jaw just fucking dropped. Like, no fucking way. First thought, second thought, no one here knows what's about to happen, and it was fucking awesome. And it was great though. I mean, I've seen him. I saw him at a Tier 1 show a long time ago, somewhere at a church in Brooklyn against, I believe it was Keith Lee and Darius.
Yeah, see, that's what I was getting at, because I could have sworn you said it was Keith Lee that you saw wrestle.
Yeah, they were in a 3-way for that. The opening match, that was a big show. That was a big weekend of shows. So
that's some fire right there.
Jr. opened the match with Matt Riddle. And which is funny, I was sitting ringside and Matt just takes his flip-flops off, and I look at him, and he just shrugs like, whatever, and he gets in the ring, which is great. But no, he's the main eventer on the indie scene, and he was the Warriors of Wrestling champ for a minute.
Well, I know that Sonny is a big fan of yours for one specific reason, Byron. You got Sonny that Vanilla Ice photo. Sonny was very happy about that. And I might even have it on my phone. Maybe we can patch it in the video here. I don't know. And I know who else was very happy to get a Vanilla Ice photo that hopefully will come on the show one day. Ivelisse.
Ooh.
And I heard that back in the locker room, there was a little dust up about you and Ivelisse.
He's just going to edit this off of the show now.
He probably is. It's probably going to hit the cutting room floor. He doesn't know what anyone's talking about. Maybe we'll get Ivelisse on the show to tell us the story, because it's a fun one. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us, and happy Pride Month to everyone out there. And until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.